Great. How are you?
So, obviously you were capable of a lot more, but with Mike and Chris and so many mouths to feed in the passing game. But what has it been like to, become almost a focal point of the passing game and just expand what you've been able to do on offense?
I don't know. I think, seeing the way Mike and Chris have operated my whole time here, I just, try and step up in their place. Obviously, they're a huge part of our offense and will be whenever they come back. But I think just as a group, we really challenged ourselves, and Coach Coen challenged us to, as a collective, raise our game. And so personally, I wanted to do that, and also as a group, I think we're working hard to do that.
Given the fact you've gotten so many plays these last couple of weeks, how does your body feel, and how do you recover from this?
Thanks for checking. I'm good. A little sore as usual, just part of the game. But overall, I'm healthy and feeling good. And just during down times when we're not meeting or watching film or walking through practicing, just gotta do whatever I can to get my body feeling good. Whether it's rolling out, getting in the tubs, stretching, all that stuff is a part of it. And it's a full-time job for sure.
You had this with Baker last year too, but to see the confidence that he has with you in the red zone, tight game situation, what does that do just to build more of a rapport with him?
Yeah, I think it's gone on over the past 2 years that he's been here. You just develop rapport as you get more reps, and like I've talked about before, how great a communicator Baker is, and especially in those situations which require a ton of detail, he's just really great, whether it's in meetings or out on the field, coming to us as pass catchers and talking through what he's seeing and when he thinks we might get the ball. And so going into the game in certain situations, I have a pretty good idea of what he's thinking, and that's a big credit to him.
What stands out to you about the 49ers defense?
They have a lot of great individual players, obviously, but they work great together as a whole. They're not super fancy or multiple in what they do. I think everyone in the league kind of knows their identity, but they play really well together, and they make it really hard because, like I said, they know what they're doing and they're really good at it. And so we just have to, have a great game plan and win our one-on-ones.
Cade, you made a lot of strides as a run blocker this year. Is that due to Justin Fields' influence? Is it the work you've done in the weight room in the offseason? What do you look at when you pinpoint your success in becoming a better run blocker?
Yeah, it's all of it. I think Coach Peel has been awesome. He's obviously played in the NFL, and he, gets it, knows the detail it takes to, win against some of these defensive ends. I think what I've come to learn being in the league is that every team wants the edge to be the strength of their defense. And so, and when defensive ends have tight ends on them, they're taught to, they have to dominate that matchup. And so it's definitely a huge task for us, but we're able to do it as long as we want to and have great technique. And it's been a learning process for sure, but I feel like I'm getting better every day.
You notice defenses are starting to notice you a little bit more, target you a little bit more in games, and how do you find ways of getting open still with knowing that you're one of the primary targets now?
I think it's the same. No matter what the defense is, if they're doubling someone or not. To me, it's always, recognizing pre-snap where the space is, and then post-snap, again, just seeing where space is. I think if you complicate things too much in your mind, you're going to be indecisive. It's something I've learned, again, being here the last few years, is that if you have too much in your mind, if you're thinking through all the coverages while you're running a route, you're not going to play fast. And so to me, I try to simplify it as much as I can to where, if I'm seeing space in a certain place, I can reflect and know it was a certain coverage, but at the end of the day, you're just finding space and winning against leverage.
What's the relationship with Baker in terms of breaking off a route, knowing you knowing him?
Yeah, again, I'll just say he's an excellent communicator, and so he's talked to me a lot about like what he's expecting in a route and versus certain coverages or leverages where he's thinking I should break, and Coach Coen has done a great job of detailing that stuff. And also the last 2 years getting a ton of reps at that, and they just build off each other and lead to us playing at a higher level.
There's still a long way to go in the season, but at the same time, you don't want to be on this losing streak. So how's everyone feeling right now? Are you angry about the losing streak? Is it calm knowing that you can still make up some ground? Just what's the mood right now?
I know that we all hate losing, and that's something we talked about in the locker room after is, don't get used to this. We know we're capable of playing at a high level. We know we can beat the best teams in the league, and we see ourselves as being up there, but we just have to prove it. We have to find ways to win, and there's an urgency there, but we're not breaking apart or anything. We're not pointing fingers. We're going back to work and doing anything we can to find a way to win.
You're a pretty humble player, but are you aware of like kind of the numbers you're putting up from a tight end standpoint? I mean, I think you've had 3 games with this many catches and touchdowns, and you got to go back to like Gronk in his prime to exceed that. Like, are you probably knew you're capable of it, but do you really, keep track of what you're doing?
I don't too much. I know my production's been up the past few weeks, but I mean the biggest thing I go back to is the win-loss column, and definitely not satisfied with where we've been the last 3 weeks, and like I said, we're going to do anything we can to change that around, and if my production goes down and we win, I'll be much happier than last.
Baker says a mustache Cade Otton is a different animal. He thought maybe he made a business decision there. What is he coming back? Like, it's not Braid-esque yet, but it's
definitely not to Cam's level, but it'll make a reappearance if we need it later on in the season. So, well, yeah, it's on call. We'll see.
You had mentioned this spring that Pro Bowl is one of your goals. Are you feeling you're having a Pro Bowl season?
That's not up for me to decide, but like I said, it would be really cool if I was recognized by them, but that's not my focus right now. That'll be more of a end of season reflection, I guess, but each week I'm just trying to do the best I can and look at the way my coaches are grading me rather than anything the outside is saying about me.
Anything else? This is probably the most heavily featured you've been, even going back to like college. Is this something that maybe you saw for yourself when you envisioned your time coming into the NFL? We said you brought up aspiring to be a Pro Bowl tight end someday. As a receiver, is this just kind of like what you were shooting for? Like, how did you envision your career playing out up until this point?
That's a good question. I don't think I necessarily envisioned this or planned for it. I try to go week by week, and my biggest goal is always to help the team in any way that I can. And going back to college, I always tried to earn my way on the field by blocking. I think as a tight end, that's super important and the fastest way to get on the field. And so I think going back to the start of my NFL career, that was really my focus. And then I think being a part of the pass game kind of goes from there.
All right, thank you guys.
Yep, thank you guys.